Hello, good evening, everyone. Right, thanks for joining us live. Okay, yet again. So tonight we will be touching on a topic that has been actually really hot recently. Okay, so what is it? It's on NFT. Okay, so however, instead of the usual talks about flipping NFTs and making how much money or in NFT, how you can make money and all that, right? Tonight, actually, we are looking at it in another perspective, I would say, okay? From where? From our children's point of view, okay? So if you are someone with children, maybe still in primary school, in secondary school, I think tonight's session will be very, very interesting for you, right? However, even if you're not a parent, don't switch away, don't switch away, because I believe there are still many things, okay, for you to take away tonight. Okay, so tonight, in fact, we are going to talk about how we can future-proof our children using NFTs and also coding. Yeah, okay, coding. So today we have a coding expert. Later, I'll introduce all of them to you later. Right. So according to a report, right, actually many of the job today, okay, will in fact not exist in the next, I would say, 20 to 30 years. Okay, due to why? Due to the reason of advance of technology, things like AI, artificial intelligence and all this automation, right? So it is actually crucial that we future-proof our children, okay, with skills and knowledge that allows them to, I would say, have a competitive advantage over their peers. Okay, so I believe most parents love that, Okay, so you can tell your friends, hey, my kid know this and know that, Okay, so it's also I think Asian parents mindset. Well, I'm also myself guilty of that, so don't feel offended. Say, oh, let's this and me. Okay, no, okay, I think Jaslyn, Christine also. So Ginny haven't parent, but I think confirm. Okay, so Asian is like that. Okay, but before I continue, so many of you already, live with us. So do type in, and maybe NFT. Okay, NFT in the comment. So we know that you are with us, or just simply just tap on the like button. Okay, so that we know that you are actually live, okay, together with us tonight. Right. Okay. So great. Tonight we of course have a few special guests, as you can see already on the screen, I believe. So let me just do a very quick introduction. Okay. Who I have with me tonight. So of course we have Dr. Christine. Okay, she's actually a PhD in artificial intelligence. I hope that's correct. And who has actually don't be fooled by her look so young. She has 26 years of experience as a senior university lecturer and also a dean. Okay, so we definitely have a lot to learn from her regarding this. I would say coding and AI, and also maybe her views on maybe what kind of jobs will be available and not available. 20, 30 years from now, right? And of course, we have Jaslyn. Jaslyn Locke is actually Singapore's first tactical parenting strategist. Okay, so she's also an international speaker, has many years of experience coaching and nurturing many children who later also became high achievers. Okay, so if you want your children to become high achievers, she is someone that you have to talk to. Right. So, and not forgetting, we have our NFT hunter. Okay. So, Mr. Genie, okay, who actually made 200% ROI on his NFT itself. And also, not only that, he also helped actually many of his students, to do that as well. Okay, with a few ROIs on NFT. So not only is he, I think, well versed in this NFT in the profit making part of things, but I think in the terms of the technology, the knowledge, I think is pretty well versed as well. And maybe tonight, okay, we'll be hearing a lot from all of them, not only Ginny, regarding how actually we can, okay, safely allow our children to explore the unknown spaces, right, such as NFT, and potentially maybe also how to future proving themselves, and create a competitive edge among their peers. Okay, so and not only that, before we go, I think you all be excited to hear the guest speaking. I know I've been speaking for the last 5 minutes. Okay, so but before that, I just want to say that we actually have something special. Okay, at the end of the session, so do stay with us. Till the end, probably like 20 to 30 minutes session tonight, lah. Right. Okay, so tonight what we will be doing is it's more I would say in a more informal way that we will be having a little bit of chat. So I'll be like a host tonight, okay, with these three experts, and then ask them, how our children can benefit from this new space, and how to do it safely as well, and potentially future proving themselves. Okay, yeah. So if that is good, I hope that maybe just tap one more time on the like or the love button. Okay, so you know that you're ready. Okay, you're ready. Right. Okay. So yeah, maybe what we'll do is we let the guests maybe just do a quick 10-second introduction about themselves. Maybe add on to what I have already introduced. Maybe not enough lah. Then they think, oh, Leslie didn't mention this my achievement. Then maybe they want to mention. Okay, so maybe let's start with Jaslyn first. Okay,
Oh,
Jaslyn, say
hello.
hi to our audience.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you, thank you, Leslie, for introducing us and for talking for 5 minutes. Okay, so yeah, so happy to be here, and I think I'm very happy to be with really as a strategist for parents, right? I know that we parents are also very worried about children not interacting with internet and without knowing exactly the risk. Okay, that's why we are here, and I'm always ready to come up with information for parents to actually teach their children as well. So that's why I'm a parenting strategist. So and I'm a study coach helping children as well. So yeah, that's all for my and yeah, maybe we could ask Dr. Christine to introduce herself. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Jaslyn, for your sharing, and thank you, Leslie, for the introduction as well. So currently, my passion is actually in is teaching kids to learn how to code, and I believe that through coding, right, the kids can actually develop various skills, including like problem solving skills, logical thinking, even creativity as well. So these skills they are actually very important for definitely for their future work, right? Even to excel in their academics as well. So, like
Mm,
for example, learning coding can actually help them in their mathematical skills, right? Because
mm.
it actually enhances their critical thinking as well. Yeah, so I'm really happy to be in this session. So I hope to share more on how we can prepare our children, for the future. Yeah, thanks, and I'll pass it on to Ginny.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Christine, for passing the torch. Right. So glad to be here with everyone else, with the two of the specialists over here for the children. We are very happy to actually be partnering with them in this space, because we believe that what they are doing, that being a strategist for coaching and being in the coding world, right, it will help to shape our next generation into the right space lah. Because whatever it is, right, we are linking now. We are doing with a lot of like IT stuff, internet stuff, right, linking everything through virtual world, right. And the virtual world requires a lot of coding, inclusive of the cryptocurrency and NFT, right, non-fungible token. That's why, right, we will Leslie and I, we would like to enhance them like through this collaboration, and help
Mm.
out more of the children to actually understand this space better, and not just being a victim of the current situation. So get them ready to be ahead of everyone. Get them to have a little bit of edge on compared to the competitors. Yeah.
Great, great.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the introduction. Very interesting. Okay, so I think let's start with no, because since I'm the host tonight, right? So I prepared actually some questions, for them. Okay, so while answering, I think this some of the question. Of course, if you do have questions, do type in the chat as well, in the comment, so we can bring it up also, and ask our guests to answer them. Okay.
Mm.
But while you're thinking what to ask, let me start the ball rolling. Huh? All right. Okay. So because tonight, of course, we are talking about NFT, Metaverse and Web3 and all that, right? So all these new terms that actually comes out. Of course, because right now currently this live stream is actually being streamed to multiple pages and group. Okay, so of course I think some of you watching could be from my group where we talk about cryptocurrency, and so probably you are more familiar with that. Okay, so I think for maybe Christine and Justin audience, maybe it's a bit new, for their audiences that
Very new.
what's that? What is that? And why is it important also? Because your children could be talking about it in future. It
Correct,
could be
correct.
also in the in a history book next time, your children's history book, or even the economy book, in future, because they probably have to learn more about that as well. So I think it's really important. So first question, maybe for, I think it will be suitable for Ginny to answer. We heard so much about metaverse, Web3, and NFT. What is it about? Maybe like um, um, you know uh,
Simplify for us.
simplified version of, hey, what is actually that?
Yeah.
So
Let me kickstart this thing. So before we jumpstart to metaverse or Web3, right? Let us understand what is Web1 and Web2 first. Okay, so Web1 is actually what you see like HTML, those static thing for you to read, right? You can't change anything. You can only just read and understand the write up and all this. So what is Web2? Web2, right? It's about creating, right? Connecting and the like creators and all this social network. Okay, so basically you can read, you can write, and you can create. Okay, you can read, you can write, and you can create for Web2. So like Facebook, like Zoom and all this, these are all considered as Web2. Okay, so what is Web3? Web3, right, is what people understand. People don't really understand what is Web3, but actually, right, Web3 is about read, write, creating, and owning. So when you there's another thing about ownership of this thing, right? So when you have ownership, you as a creator, as you also own certain thing. So as a Web3, then inside a Web3, right, when you need to own thing, you create your own thing instead of just trading NFT and other stuff that you always heard from people like, oh, I made so much money by trading NFT and all this. So it doesn't bring any value to any one of us, right? So actually NFT is called non-fungible token. It actually can bring a lot more value because it is actually linked to coding work, right? It is actually linked to the blockchain technology, and it's very, very transparent, and you can have the ownership of the non-fungible token. Okay, with the ownership of non-fungible token, right? Then if imagine you are the creator, right? Imagine you are the creator, and then if you can sell you manage to actually list or sell your NFT, right? Then you can actually earn some royalty and earn some or a little bit of side income from then on. So for Web3, right, actually people emphasize more on creating and owning the whole thing, right? So if we can actually teach this kind of mindset, right, to the next generation, the future generation, right, then they can actually create, because kids, right, they have like their imagination is so like so strong, they can actually build a lot of things. So if we actually train them to actually build things, like put their thoughts into creation, right? Wow, we will be damn powerful. Actually, especially when we coach them at the right time, inclusive of coding and NFT, right? Wow, I think the future will be very, very bright for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chinny, for the simple explanation. Yes. And yeah, maybe I also can add on to, some of, I gather some survey from children, and teenagers, okay, what they think of NFT. Okay, maybe something you can address as well. Okay, so okay, all those children that are below 12, they really do not know what is NFT. Okay, so those that teenagers tell me, NFT is an online currency. So is it true? Is
NFT
it true?
is an online digital asset lah, right?
Okay,
And
digital
NFT
asset.
can come in a lot of form. Can be in picture form, right? Can be video form, can be music form, can be anything, can be anything. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And another thing is, they said that it's an overpriced image. Okay,
Right.
that's what they think. Yeah, so maybe you could add
I
something to it.
in my personal view, NFT, right, it is the same as the 1997 of internet. When it happens, right, there's a lot of internet stocks actually boom up to the very, very high price, right? And what happened next? They actually crash, right? It is a very, very heavy bubble. But then people know that, right? and internet is the future. It's just that there is so much hype during the time during 1997, and there needs to be a crash. And what I'm seeing NFT now, there's a lot of future usage of it. It's just that we need to find out how to actually use this thing, right? And we are actually in a bubble. So the kids are right; they are very very smart in this term. It is very very overpriced stuff currently, and it will crash. I believe it will crash. It will be a bubble. That's why be a creator is so important. Be ownership. You are the owner is so important because you create your own thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
In fact, yes, that's why why coding is so important and it can future proof, right? You see, when Ginny talk about this, creator, right? You see, the Christine already predicted long ago. That's why she put the creator, behind the background. So you
Yes,
see the
yes, yes.
important, yeah, the important of coding. You can tell the future. Okay, just a joke, lah, but it's not. It's true
Yeah,
in
it's
some way.
important.
Yes, yeah. So something to add. I think Ginny and Justin talk a lot about Web3 and NFT. So I think there's one more thing that is about the metaverse, right? So it's maybe I can give a little bit of view and about that as well. Because in metaverse, I think it's just VR. So I just last time we really have a virtual reality. Okay, but what is the main difference there? Metaverse is what we call a persistent environment. Okay, what does that mean? It means that when you put on the VR goggle and play your game and all that, right? Okay, it only exists when you are logged on. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It only exist. So once you leave that game or that environment don't exist anymore. Okay, metaverse is different. If you leave that environment, it still exists. Okay, it has its own basically its own economy by itself. And why is it possible? Because of this technology called blockchain and using the NFT as well. Okay, then that is like possible because you can essentially own a pair of Nike shoe, for example, in the virtual world, and everyone knows that you own it. But in your own game, your VR game, only you own it, lah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's what we call a persistent. So a lot of things, when we come back to children and all that, I think in future education could be the class could be in a metaverse itself instead of in a physical environment. And of course, there are still many areas to be improved in this space. Okay, but of my own opinion, one good advantage. Why metaverse? Why not physical? Because you can actually essentially save a lot of cost in terms of, let's say, rental or even just normal electricity bill, right? Okay, if you go to a class on the lights, but with metaverse, actually that can be actually safe, and different people from all over the world can perhaps go to Harvard University now without being at Harvard itself. So there's a lot of possibility, that maybe someone from Harvard is hearing this right now. Then okay, must remember it's me. I give the idea one. Okay, so that's kidding.
Thank you,
Okay, so
Leslie.
just some ideas that
Mm.
thinking out loud and all that. Yeah, so
I,
it's interesting.
I feel that you are too. I'm so privileged to be here, because I'm in the study arena, But I know that there's a need for our children to really future proof lah. Meaning to say, not only like I advocate a lot on studying and whatever, but I think it's important we know the world out there. It's much more than the books, much more than even the newspapers. Even something in the future. That's why we need to future proof our children, right? So fortunate to know all of you here, right? Okay, so maybe we can share what we have that we can like make it very easy for parents and children to understand more about what you all are doing and on the like soft skill here, because I know that Dr. Christine is the coding, right? Coding skills, and Ginny and Leslie is on the NFT, and what is really in the world out there. And I'm the one that try to really what are the soft skills that children require right now. Is not only for the future but also right now currently that can help them to better understand that they need to be open, right? They need to be ready. Yeah, so this is what I feel I fit in this small space over here.
Yes. No, okay. For Jaslyn, right? Okay, she's playing down herself, lah. So we're very humble, very
No, no,
humble.
no,
Okay,
no.
so in fact, Jaslyn, okay, why we also invite her, because she worked with so many children. Okay, so she definitely has a lot more experiences compared to us, in handling children. So why is it important to for Jaslyn to be here tonight as well? Because okay, just like a little bit like when we first have internet, right? We are worried. Okay, the children are going into internet. What if they go into some funny website? Some people talking to them. Wow,
Yes,
and
yes,
last time got what MRIC or this. Then they ask my
yes.
girl how that kind of
Yeah.
worries, right? Okay,
It's
but
still
then
like it's still the problem right now, I think.
still have. But then again, we cannot stop them because we cannot
Mm,
not say cannot we cannot cut off. We cannot say that.
correct. Yeah.
It's just like you cannot say that to reduce the divorce rate, right? You don't get married. Cannot lah.
Mm.
So
Cannot.
so
It's
you
just like
have
work.
to
We need
let them
to
safely, go and navigate this space.
mm,
Okay, so that was the internet era. Of course, we have many ways already. Okay, so I think Justin yourself, you have this safe, SAFE system, right? Okay.
correct. Yes.
It's actually to help safeguard our children from the threat in
That's
this
right.
cyber world or in the space
Mm.
of this metaverse. Yeah, maybe we can get you to share a little bit.
Yeah,
How can
correct.
we do that? How can we do that?
Yeah, it's like dangerous, right? Okay, I will tell you some really very dangerous things that I see. Okay, that I want to really share with everybody, because it's important we get all this ready, right? Yeah. So yeah, this is okay. This is can you see the screen about this news that is in January? Y'all able to see? Leslie, you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yep, it's on
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a Singapore news, okay? Okay, maybe Leslie and me are more familiar, okay? This that actually had a 20,000 credit card bill, okay? Because of some what is that game called Genshin Impact, okay? So that's why I say parents need to be upgraded, okay? And your children need to know what's the risk up there, okay? So remember, there's all these important words that I want to highlight to you is that, children nowadays are spending money as though they actually, because they don't earn the money, okay? So they actually spend the money without blinking an eye. This is exactly what the parents said, okay? So I want to let you know that if you feel that your children are not knowing the value of money, okay, come on, let's all teach them the right way. And if you're not able to put across it to you, and I'm here to put it across to them, right? Another one is his thing that Genshin Impact is actually some sort of a gaming. Okay, so also remember that things that with our children are things, even if you think it's a game, it could be a different kind of like a gaming kind of thing which you are not even aware of, right? So that's the danger. And I think the Mr. Lim, who is the victim of this whole thing, where he never actually uh, or warn or giving the controls that make this happen to have this 20,000 debt, okay? He said that parents have totally no control. Actually, I don't really think so, okay? But I want to let y'all know that if parents think you have no control, please, there is always a solution, okay? It is really a disaster happening. If you sit there, wait for it to happen, okay? We need to take action, okay? So this is very, very interesting. Yeah. So, for let's say, can I share about what we have for the parents here who are also worried about the children in this on internet arena? Yeah.
Yeah, of course, sure. Yeah, so in fact, we have prepared something for you. Yeah, so I
Mm,
think Jaslyn can yeah
yeah. What we
share it.
can.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's why we, Dr. Christine and Ginny, actually wants parents to have a better way to educate your children, as well as bring them in, get more information, and I can help you to actually give them the information. And Dr. Christine actually give them all the coding skills, how to draw digital images, make them, other than studying, right, they are ready for the future. Okay, so that's why our topic for this wonderful camp is called Future Proof Your Children Today, okay, and not tomorrow. Okay, let's all start, especially now in the school holidays. We want to do this online, okay, because we are all in different parts of the world. Like Dr. Christine and Jimmy are in Malaysia, and we're in Singapore, but we all can bring this to everyone here. Okay, so who should attend the holiday camp is parents who wish to learn their children's world. Okay, especially the dangers. We want to also let them know, and we need to have parents who also want their children to have a competitive age. Okay, that means people don't know but your children know, right? Okay, this is what Leslie said, we all love that. Okay, and of course we give them this opportunity to spend quality time that is enriching during the school holidays. Okay, and today we are giving you this $29.90, okay, of only for this wonderful 2-day course, okay, at the comfort of home, right? Okay, so this is the link, or you can take a snapshot, or you can scan straight away to go to our landing page, okay, and you can register straight away. All right, so yeah, take a snapshot. Thank you, Leslie, for letting us share.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, so
Okay,
no,
yeah,
no
thank
problem.
you.
Yeah, so yeah, in fact, okay, actually, we saw. Yeah, thanks, Jaslyn. For sharing this and heading this NFT camp. I think it'll be very interesting. Okay,
Mm,
for the parents. So yeah, for this one, the parents don't have to get involved most of the time, lah, So I think it will be good also because as parents myself, I like to enroll my children into courses, right, where they can OT, then I can do
yes.
my own thing.
Correct, correct. Yes, Leslie. Actually, I have a parent who actually inquired about it already. It's like he's so fast, and then parents do not move it, okay? Because I think one of the important thing about it is that we do not just want to spend money on tuition, okay? I want to tell all the parents that we also need to invest our children in their minds, how to future proof their kids, a lot of things that we want to invest our children in, and not only just studying. All right, Ken?
Yeah, so we do have a question, for children of which age group, so I can quickly just answer that, right? Okay, so that will actually be for nine, I think, all right. But of course, we don't really restrict lah, but we roughly about 9 to 16 years, so I think will be
Sharon,
more
right? Sharon
suitable.
asked the question. Hello,
Yes,
Sharon.
yes, yes. Yeah. So, in fact, okay, actually, before that, I actually want to ask another question, actually, for more for Christine, okay, because we have been talking about NFT, Metaverse, and all that, right? Okay. So, I want to ask her, right? Then because I also saw this coding, okay, coding inside this camp, right? Okay. So,
Mm,
maybe we can
exciting.
Christine can share a little bit what is coding, and why is it important to learn, and how actually is it related, to Metaverse, Web3, NFT, and all that.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Leslie. So just now, Jeannie gave a very interesting, simple background about Metaverse, NFT, and also the Web 3.0. So Metaverse is something really, really exciting. And I think, as you all know, like Facebook actually renamed to Meta, right? And they are actually looking for developers, in to create this Metaverse. And so, imagine yourself owning a piece of land in the virtual world. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I want to own a bungalow, inside that virtual land, the virtual world. Right. So, for us to actually develop the metaverse, having blockchain where we can host an NFT, right? So we need programmers, right? We need developers or coders. So as coders or developers, like Leslie mentioned, we are all creators. Okay, so we create NFTs, right? We can code the NFT, we can code the metaverse, and I would say that one of the popular programming language, right, for metaverse developer is actually Python. Okay, so because actually many parents did ask me what is the best programming language for our kids to start learning. So I will always introduce to them Python programming language, which is one of the simplest and easiest programming language to learn. So in fact, right, even a kid as young as 7 years old can start learning Python by drawing images. As you know that, just now Jeannie shared that NFT, right, is actually a digital asset. Okay, so that for example, an image, okay, so it's a digital asset, and we can actually code this image, right, using coding. Right, so that's what I'll be teaching in our boot camp. So I'm really excited, to teach this that session, right, where the kids, right, will be using the Python code to create images. Okay, so in future they can actually generate their own NFT, right, using the Python code, right, and who knows, that will open up a lot more opportunities for them, right, because as I mentioned, Python, right, is one of the programming language that's used to create the metaverse, right, and that will open up great opportunities for them in the future in terms of jobs that does not even exist now, right? So just now, earlier on, Leslie did mention some of the jobs that we have today did not exist like 20, 30 years ago. Like for example, AI specialist or robotics engineer, right? Were there such jobs? No, right? Or data scientists, okay? So who knows, there will be new jobs that's being created, in the future, and we want to prepare our children for that.
That's right.
Okay?
Mm.
Yeah.
And a lot of jobs will be lost. Remember, Dr. Christine talked about
Yes,
that as
yes, a lot
well.
of
So we need
jobs
to
will correct.
correct. More
Some of the jobs
scary.
that we see today will not exist anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you
Sharon
so
has a
much. Yeah, for
question. Yeah,
yes.
Sharon has
Yeah.
a
Do
question.
share with us the questions that you have.
Sharon
Yep.
says, is it a
So
physical workshop?
yeah, it's a physical workshop. So Sharon, no, because we are talking about metaverse, right? So you'll be
Yes.
in the metaverse. Is not kidding, lah. Okay, so you'll be on a Zoom, lah, because yeah, because
Good
Ginny
question. Good question.
and
Yeah.
Christine, they are from Malaysia, and of course Jessie and myself from Singapore. So I think we will
Mm.
probably have children and parents from these two countries and maybe even more.
Yeah, we
Right.
have the link. Yes, Sharon. Yeah, we have the link. You can know more details as well.
Okay. So Jara, we are creating new roles to disrupt ourselves. Definitely.
Yay.
Yeah. So in
Sharon,
fact,
yeah,
okay,
thank you.
very interesting. Because while Christine was talking, I did a quick, some Google lah, some Google. Okay. I think we talk about using coding, right, to actually create NFT and all that. Let me just show you. I'm not sure. It's actually a few months ago. This news already, but let me just show you. Okay. Of course, this is not the main purpose, lah. But if potentially your children come. Okay,
Yes.
a 12-year-old coder can make 400,000 after 2 months of selling NFT. Okay, so who knows?
Yes.
Who knows, right? Okay, so
My son saw this article and told me also.
is it? Then he said,
Yeah.
"Oh, he want to be a coding coder." Okay, so
But a
see
lot of
all these.
negativities, so that's why we want to address it, Yeah.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't say it's totally negativity, but I
But
would
they
say
think
we
negative,
need
yeah.
to let them know lah that not
Correct.
everyone will earn this 400,000. In fact, I think I won't be worried about children wanting to earn 400,000. It's more of the parents. What can earn 400,000? Okay, quickly sign up, Okay, I think that's
Okay,
not
correct,
the
correct.
point, but I think it's really interesting. Okay, so I think see all these jobs, and then a LinkedIn so-called article also mentioned that 85% of the job that will exist in 2030. They haven't been even invented yet. Okay, probably in the line of blockchain, NFT, probably, or you work. In fact, yes, there is actually a person already, okay, working in Subway, Metaverse Subway. Okay, have you heard of this news? Okay,
No,
Metaverse Subway.
not the Subway that we eat, right? Okay.
No, no, really. No, the Subway, sandwich.
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
it's
okay.
taking orders. So it's taking orders in the Metaverse. Okay.
Oh, I
In a Subway
see.
restaurant. Then the orders will be sent to a physical Subway restaurant where he'll go and collect his sandwich.
Mm,
Yeah. So yeah, he's already being employed
I
in
see.
Metaverse. So yeah, there are jobs already created. Yeah. So if you
Awesome,
don't know
awesome.
how to, you say, oh, can you take orders of sandwiches in Meta? Oh, don't know what's that? Then you don't have that
We
job
know, we
anymore.
know. Yes,
Okay.
the future is limitless, lah. We give our children you know, invest them, open up their minds so there really can be a lot of opportunities, right?
Yeah, so Sharon asked any link she can show her kids. Okay, in fact, I would say it's for both the kids and the parents. It's for both. If you want to join, I think there'll be a lot of things that and in fact we do encourage if the parents want to. It's good to be together. So you learn it together and you can explore the whole new space together. And if you don't know coding yet, maybe you can start from there as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the. In fact, the link, as at the bottom, you can see bit.ly/ but we can just paste it again in the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I may need.
See, Sharon is yeah, I also can send to you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in fact, some of the I don't know because when I paste here, I think some of the groups and pages
Don't worry,
don't
don't worry.
don't have the comment appear.
Sharon,
So
I
maybe
sent it to your messenger already. I
your
sent the messenger.
individual. Yeah. So in fact, what I just want to share one more thing. Is you see there's even things like all these Ziga. It's something like a NFT children TikTok. Okay, you see, they say they are world lounges. So all these things, it can be a double-edged sword, I'll say, right? Because
Yes, yes.
yeah, it's something that maybe you want them to explore. So it's just like TikTok for kids. Kids save all that.
Mm.
Maybe I'm not sure, correct or not, because they are using it. We never know. Some people can just like last time when we talk about all these platform where we chat, right? Like MIC last time, right? That we are worried that children anyhow go in and chat. So we don't know. Someone could go in and hijack, their account or whatever. That I think all these are really important to take note of as well.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay, there's no more questions, right? No more.
any more questions from the
Hmm.
floor? Okay. Any other things that Jenny, Christine, or Jaslyn want to share?
I think it's a once it's really a very, very good cause that we are having and really want to give to more parents and the children. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Anything from Ginny, for our audience?
Yeah, so actually, when we came out with this idea, right, it is when we saw a lot of people came out with a lot of NFT course, teaching people how to flip NFT, how to earn money from NFT, right? Whenever I see that or we see that, right, we are thinking about actually a lot of people will be getting hurt. We'll be losing a lot of money actually by doing all this NFT flipping or do all this because NFT, right? If you want to earn money, it is always a zero sum game, right? Zero sum game means let's say Leslie is earning money, someone is actually losing money. Okay, someone is going to lose money. So that's why, right, we need to do it first time, right? And we believe in technology, we believe in blockchain, we believe in coding, and we believe in cryptocurrency. Of course, we believe in non-fungible token. But then we need to do it. We were thinking, how can we actually bring value, right? That's why we came out with this very very happening, very happy
Mm.
June holiday camp to actually bring value to the kids, maybe to the parents as well. So maybe
Mm.
after learning maybe the parents after learning the coding from Christine, right, they might create their own NFT project. Then they might just like what from there on already. Yeah.
Yes, have fun, yeah, and enrich them. That's
Yes,
important.
yeah. We want to actually have a safe environment for our children to learn all these hot topics. So I believe that we have the right expertise here, the right experts to actually equip the children so that they are in a safe environment to learn about blockchain, NFTs, or even know about cryptocurrencies as well. So that they are aware of some of the risks that they may be involved in, right? And also what are the skills, the knowledge they need to actually excel or to actually be on top, to have this knowledge so that they are not left behind. All right. So of course
Mm.
we don't want our children to be left behind. We want them to be really be on top of the game and to know what is the current trend, right, in the digital workspace. Yeah, and this is really I believe is a wonderful opportunity for our children to find out more, in a safe environment.
Mm. Well said, Dr.
Yeah,
Christine.
very well said, and thanks, again to Ginny, Christine, and
Mm.
Jaslyn. Okay, so I think I if I don't know because again this being streamed to multiple pages. So, but I think if a lot of you watching this one who has seen my if you have followed me, I know my life or this, right? Typically, right, I don't really do selling. Okay, if you realize that, okay, I don't really go and do selling during my Facebook live. Okay, but okay, this time around is I think okay, if you go in, okay, the price, right, actually is only to really just cover a bit of cost only because for us to actually invite okay, Christine and Justin itself is really actually very expensive really. But because they are actually very nice, they say, oh, it's for the children June holiday and all that. So they are willing to do it. I would say at a loss lah, but a loss of time only lah, for them. So so they think, okay, it's very interesting, and they themselves are also so interested to learn more about this
Right.
NFT space. That's why they say,
That's right. That's right.
let's do it. But minimally, we need to cover a bit of cost and all that. That's all. So really the price. So I think there are a few questions. I think asking about how long is the cost and the date and time. So I think if you click into the link, you would see the date should be 18, right? If I didn't remember wrong, 18 and 19, right? Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
So it's 2 days. So should be 10 to 3?
Three,
Or
yes,
10 to
10 to
4?
3.
3
10 to
p.m.
3,
Yeah,
yes.
So
10 to 3 p.m.
yeah, of course we have breaks in between lunch and all that. Yeah. So yeah, you can throw your kids there for a while. Yeah, but there are some portion some portion we actually want the parents to be together with kids. But most of the time say
The second day, second day,
if you want the kids just to learn on their own or do your things, that's also fine. Yeah, that's also fine. Okay, so yeah, if you can see there's a banner floating, that's actually the link. So we actually shorten it. It's quite easy for you to type in because I believe when I type in the comment, not all the pages actually receive it. Yeah, after the live end, I'll actually go in individual to make sure that it's in the comment. Yeah, so if not, Jocelyn, maybe you just flash one more time the QR code, so at least they got another way.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
So yeah, because I think it's Sharon again, right? I'll forward the link already. Okay, so
I give it to her already. Yeah. Give it to her. Okay, so this is the this is the QR code.
Okay, let me
and the
just
link
bring
on
it up.
top. Yeah, just
leave it here for a while, so those who want to scan can scan, no problem. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's it will be very interesting and fun, for not only for the kids, but I think for the parents. But at the same time, having fun is one thing. I believe that it can also become like what we say, future proof your children. At the same time, have I would say additional competitive edge, among their peers, right? So I think a lot of parents love that. Personally, I love that. So can
Yes,
be like, hey,
actually say good stuff. Right, good stuff.
just kidding about the Haolian, the not show off part, but it's half jokingly but I think it's Asian mindset. Okay, we have to not be upfront. I think no need to.
Yeah,
be
parents
shy,
need to learn.
right?
I always stress that. Yes, we all need to learn what is new as well. All got to learn together.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see if there's any last round of questions. If not, no problem. And if not, I will just request for everyone, maybe just tap on the love button this time for us. Okay.
Okay. Love
Yeah,
love
tap on the love button. Okay. So if you have enjoyed the session tonight and learned something, yeah, and if you want to join us, do join us at the boot camp. So in fact, yeah, you will be you'll see the four of us. Right. Okay, so is it someone say we'll sign up. So unfortunately I cannot see your name. So yeah. We will see you there.
Please share. Yeah, please share to your friends, Yeah.
Yeah. I think it will be fun also. So you can leave both. Let's say your friend, they say, hey, we go for tea break. Put your children there. Okay. Yeah. So if there's no question, don't worry. If there's more questions, even though sorry, let me just remove that first. Yeah. So you can just tap on the chat. We'll go back in to see if there's any question. Then we'll reply you on the comment itself. Okay. Because as of now, I don't see any more questions. Then we shall conclude this session. Yeah. But before that, any last words for our audience? NFT hunter.
No, I think take action. I remember.
Yeah, see you all at the boot camp.
Yeah.
Okay, so so with that, so I don't hold everyone back because it's also a Sunday night. Have a good early rest, right? Okay, see you.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.